This is Jason Medley. He's a recovering mortgage broker. Just kidding. He's still a mortgage broker, but I'll let you tell your story. Tell us about where you were before you got my training and what it's done for you and what your business looks like now.
Let me ask you guys: how many of you all in here are mortgage brokers or realtors, or former? How about former mortgage brokers or realtors? Put that middle finger down over there. No. I was actually, I guess what would be considered by modest terms, a pretty successful mortgage broker. I've been in the business for about 8 years, but just like everybody else, my business was being impacted. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and I didn't like that. I was accustomed to making a lot of money, and I want to stay making a lot of money. And the need for loans just wasn't there, and I kept looking around, and everybody's going into default, and I was like, well, I need to learn how to do short sales. And the key thing is, a lot of people in here just raise their hands, okay? If you guys are realtors and mortgage brokers, you already have a huge head start than anyone else that walks into this business without experience, because you already know. I mean, you're basically putting together a loan package to send to a lender. It's not overly complicated. It's W-2s and pay stubs and that kind of stuff. It's not rocket science. So anyway, I signed up with DC, started to get his training, and I will tell you that short sales take a little time and they take a little patience, but if you can endure that, there are some very big checks. This is my last deal, which just closed on March 14th. I've got 2 others that are probably going to close this month, but this was a luxury home. It was up in Corey Lake Isles. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but I want to stress something about this check, and something that DC stressed, and I can't. You guys get pounded into your head. Big second mortgages. That's money in the bank. If you find a house with a big second mortgage, it's when you're sizing up a deal, you need to look at 10% of the value of that, okay? Add it to the outstanding first balance, and if that LTV is 60% of the actual value of the house, you're just waiting for that big check. It's really, I mean, second lien holders are not in a position to battle with you. So anyway, I've got a pretty systematic approach right now, but the other thing I want to focus on with you guys is that I really did not spend a nickel to get that check. The deal was referred to me by a realtor, okay? Because he referred it to me, I let him list the home. If he had sold the house without me, if I hadn't gotten in the middle of the transaction, the lender would have wanted to pay him 5% total, 2.5% to him, 2.5% to the other agent for the buyer. And instead, by working with me, I took home that big juicy check right there, and he made a total, instead of 2.5%, I gave him an extra, he made 4%, okay? So he made an extra $8,000 on a $495,000 sale. Okay, so he was happy. So I spent no money to do it. I didn't spend any money to get the deal. I didn't spend any money to sell the deal. And I negotiated it for $402,000. Private money lender funded the deal. I didn't pay. I paid to borrow the money for 1 business day, but it wasn't my money. The money I spent to fund the deal came right out of my profit. So. Short sales are everywhere, and you guys really have a leg up you have a head start by having experience in the real estate or mortgage business, and you've got a good coach right here. I know sometimes I call him a kid because I've got about 7 years on him, but don't let that fool you. He's very sharp. He's very aggressive, and I would highly recommend that if you decide to move forward tonight, that you don't really look at this as an expense, but rather an investment. One more thing I want to share with you guys is that check they did show up there for me, $38,000 or something, whatever it was. We were battling with the second lien holder. It was SunTrust, okay? It was a $262,000 balance, and I was offering them about $20,000 on it, okay? And they were kicking and screaming, weren't going to take anything less than half, even though half plus the first mortgage was way over what the house was worth, blah, blah, blah. And my assistant called DC's assistant, Denise, and within a matter of about 5 minutes, Denise said, "Who's the second lien holder?" SunTrust. SunTrust will take 25% of the outstanding balance. If 25% of the outstanding balance leaves you a check in your pocket, call them up and offer them 25%. We offered them 25%. We called them up right after that, offered them 25% of the outstanding balance. They sent us over an approval letter, and I cashed a $38,000 check. So just those are some just one simple thing of how working with DC, just one little piece of information like that. I mean, that saved us a lot of time because I had knots all over my head from battling SunTrust on that. But she knew their magic number as far as the lowest amount they would take. So that's helpful stuff.
Helpful when you have the information.